Okay, welcome to another Field of Glory 2 Digital League Season 8 battle. This is Early Middle Ages Division A. I have the Vikings in Ireland with Irish allies versus the Germans with Polish allies. So let's take a look at my opponent's available forces first. Lots of options. Limited lights, 8 units max, but 7 units of massed archers, so maybe parity, maybe outshooting me a little bit. For infantry, he's got an odd mix. The raw and defensive shield wall are all defensive spearmen, thus at 0 POA when charging anything that is not other defensive spearmen. So not great, but in the melee they're on even terms with the offensive shield wall, which is 6 points more expensive. So they can be a bargain depending on how you use them. The armored lancers and armored cavalry are superior armored offensive spearmen, and the dismounted cavalry are above average. And being Polish, he has lots of cavalry options. The Polish contingents of this period are light spear cavalry. He also has lancers available, crucially including 42 point above average protective lancers. 42 point unit of lancers like that can zone of control lock a much more expensive unit of heavy infantry. The battlefield is open, but we've got a solid anchor with a hill and forest and some rough. Although I have lots of good medium foot options available, I don't believe I will really be utilizing them in this battle. Instead, we'll form up our shield wall on this hill where he will be most unlikely to attack me, and put our expensive points into our Huscarls. Might also invest in some berserkers. And I will max out my skirmishers. Chuck a couple light javelin men in the forest just to keep things covered. We're not going to win a shooting match, but we do want to cover our advance if he opts to use large numbers of massed archers. We'll certainly want a good light present on this wing. Grab more shield walls to fill out the line. I could grab some superior Irish foot, I suppose. They're unprotected, thus squishy, but I do rather like them. So that means we need to get them. 230 points remaining. I can get 3 units of cavalry if I want them, and I think I do want them in case I should need to break a zone of control lock by enemy cavalry. 54 points remaining. Grab another shield wall. Put them in reserve. Figure out what to do with them later. I do have 12 points available, actually. I wonder if I can do anything. I probably could, but I just don't even feel like thinking about it, so I'm not going to. Obviously, the best move. I think I'm actually going to put my commander-in-chief in line here and just have a all cavalry command here. Well, shift you down there. Something like that. Doesn't matter that much. And if my opponent deploys a pretty infantry-heavy force, then we can just descend from our hill and abandon our forest and march into the open and slug it out. But I suspect there's going to be a lot of cavalry, and if there is, unfortunately, we're going to have to be kind of bastards and just sit here and invite a draw. Unless I get bored and frustrated with doing that. Always a possibility. Alright, let's see his deployment. Eventually. Okay. What have we got? I need to see how much cavalry he has before I can decide whether to push out. Enough that I'm not inclined to move too aggressively. Obviously, he's not going to charge this hill, so we can probably effectively abandon it as this develops. That looks good to me. While I don't expect any assault here, and eventually I'll pull half my units off of it, I also see no reason to push into the open where I have unguarded flanks, unless I have to. We're going to have to take on these General Dismounted Armored Lancers head-on, and that is going to be quite difficult. Onward. Next turn. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to wheel 90 degrees to the left with basically everyone except the cavalry. If I leave too few units here, you'll just be able to slip through with horsemen, but my own cavalry should be able to hold it. Then we will push to anchor our line on this marsh, and then perhaps advance forward this way. Pompey is a good cautious player. He's not going to attack me head on if he doesn't need to, so he's going to try to find a way around. So, my army performs best fighting head on, so we're going to try to engineer that ourselves. It's going to be a long bit of maneuvering before contact, I think. Next turn. Not entirely sure where he's going with this. Okay, well, we'll continue our movement to the left. Something like that. Right, so Pompey is taunting me a little bit. Careful, your pieces might fall off of the table edge. Referring to how far to the back of the map I'm deployed. Yes, that's kind of fair. The problem is he has got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 units of cavalry. So it's one of the things I've been disliking more and more about this list as I play it this season is I can only get 5 units of non-light cavalry, which means that anytime my opponent brings, 8 to 10 units of cavalry, I don't have much choice but to play pretty defensively. The Viking versus Andalusian game, I got torn up pretty badly when I finally moved from my defensive position because I lacked cavalry. And the season before this, I played as the Khorasanians, which had a pretty weak infantry line, but lots of cavalry and elephants. And I think I prefer that overall because it gives me choices. And here I feel like I don't have much in the way of choice. Okay, so we'll continue to shuffle into line, and then what we might do is push this medium foot ahead so we can line all 4 units of medium foot up corresponding to this rough ground, so that if we do need to push, we can do so. Next turn. For starters, once everything's in a nice long line, we can consider an advance. Difficulty, well, there's lots of difficulties. For one thing, the Lancers can zone of control lock my whole line if I'm not careful. The Master Archers could win the skirmishing fight for him. And although most of his infantry is not very impressive defensive shield walls, and there aren't that many of them, he does have 5 units of dismounted armored lancers, 2 of them generaled up, and they are very much a match for my Huskarls, although I have 7 of those. So we'll see if we develop a battle in the center here, or if we develop a standoff. Next turn. I'm sure he knows these guys are in here, but perhaps he doesn't remember their exact numbers. Okay, so once this picked Irish foot is in position, we'll have everybody just about nicely lined up, and we can advance. And the line will probably need to swerve a couple tiles this way so that we don't run our Huskarls into broken ground. We also don't want too large a gap to open up to be exploited by this 4-unit cavalry reserve. Another danger we're going to run into is that these cheap lancers are going to zone of control lock our line. And without sufficient skirmishers, we're just going to have to eat some charges, and it's going to hurt. Next turn. Yeah, I'm going to try my best to just avoid these 3 units of masked archers in the rough. But if we have to fight them, we'll do so using our medium foot. We'll shuffle ourselves forward just a little bit to show our willingness to fight. And then next turn I can consider popping out on this flank and Seeing what damage I can do with my lights. Okay. Next turn. Now he's moving infantry to help over here. So, if he's fallen back into the rough, we can simply decline this friendly offer of battle here and shift everyone right. They're just trying to goad me into action. But sure, why not? Let's be goaded. I'm going to take some punishment from these archers. Good. We'll continue our shift to the right. If these troops come out to intervene, these lancers, or dismantled lancers and shield wall, then we can pop out of this marsh and say hello. In fact, with 3 non-light melee units, might be willing to shift these picked Irish foot over as well. Okay, so we'll make our way slowly towards contact. Right, next turn. Yes, the archers. Hello. And the damned archers, again. Yes, this zone of control lock thing is exactly what I was expecting. I need to find a way to get my skirmishers into play now to force engagement along the line instead of just sitting here and getting shot. Okay. Do we... We do. Good. No. And hello. General up on here, wheel a bit, and then put some pressure on. Shove them a bit. Goodbye. Okay. Do we open a gap up wider, or do we start pushing here? I think we wheel and prepare to push. Normally I don't do this, but I don't think we're going to have time for it to matter anyway, so we'll just start shooting. I'm displeased with this situation as my berserkers don't have access to the combat here, so we're going to need to turn them around now to start working their way back. I could try to fall back now, but then I could take cohesion checks, so I don't think it's actually worth it. But yeah, he's moved in nicely to slow me down and hit me with the armored core of his best infantry, while I trundle into position and get locked in place by his lancers. Ouch. But it's far too early to make any pronouncements on the general course of the battle. Next turn. Yep, that sort of thing is going to be ugly. Did force a frag there, that's good. Damned masked archers. Right. Break them. They'll hold firm. Good. That is less good. Let's see if we can force a disrupt before contact here. Nope. Alright. Not sacrifice our commander then. That was a mistake. Forgot about this zone of control. Lock them in. We're gonna lose this unit, but that's okay, I think. Great. Yeah, that's really, really helpful. Alright, we need to just push this unit off. So that we can get some support in. Good. We'll see if he's able to cover all these massed archers. Force a check if you can. No. Okay, this is going, I think, badly so far. We're going to lose a unit there. And the loss of that commander was a huge blow. Now we have to throw in 2 expensive units to 1. And he's still going to just rush these armored lancers back into zone of control lock us. So, overall, a bad start, though it's far from a foregone conclusion. I guess Pompey is disappointed by something. Let's hope I find it as delightful as he finds it disappointing. So far, not seeing too much cause for disappointment for him. Maybe it wasn't an expression of disappointment. I suppose it might have been a reference to my general getting himself killed right away. That was something special. No, I think he has lots of reason to feel optimistic about this. And they hold. Damn, we're gonna get flank attacked. Yep, this is falling apart awfully quick. Yeah, I've come to loathe this army over the course of this season. It seemed good on paper, but now that I'm actually using it, I just absolutely despise it. It's just too easily locked in by Lancers, and there's really nothing I can do about it. I mean, I have a theoretically decent skirmish arm, but so many of them are javelin men that it's quite difficult to force cohesion checks. And now I am just outpointed here by 8 points, and that adds up over the course of over the length of the battlefield. So yeah, this one's going to go to Pompey. Next turn, no disagreement from Pompey, so I think that this is indeed his to lose. Of course. I should have seen that, but I did not. Right, so once again we have to do something stupid so we can at least push forward. And we'll lose that unit as well. Definitely some of this losing streak in this section is due to incompetence, but I think mostly it came down to really poor army choice. I think I was overconfident about what offensive spear could do and did not appreciate enough just how bad a lack of cavalry would be. Three disruptions, surprising, but a bit late to help. Really? Okay. Need to cover our Irish foot. This is tempting, then we just get rear charged. So unfortunately we have to turn this way. That's it. Yeah, we're gonna get some breaks in, but this is still done. We're gonna get outflanked on too many different spots at once to contain the damage. Next turn. Should see Pompey widen his lead considerably this turn. Ouch. Yeah, see, this sort of thing is a problem I've been facing all season with this Viking army. Once the lines are close enough that I don't have skirmishers in between, I really can't do anything about those lancers blocking me in. Good. See if we can get a chain break at all. No. Actually, it might be better to hang back here so we don't get flanked shortly. We're gonna run away. There's nothing else we can do. Yeah, see, this is perfect. He has Lancers. Cheap, I believe 42-point Lancers against, well, Berserkers are only 44, but Huskarls are 72. And I can do nothing here, but just stand here until I get charged. Very well done. Pretty frustrating to fight against, but it's definitely his best move, and I think it's my fault for bringing an army that has no good counter to this. Next turn of our collapse. Very nice. Very nice. That kind of seals the deal, I think. At least we get to do some damage on our way out. Yep, and there goes the whole right wing. Oh, we might push sort of out of the way. There we go. So he locks in the cavalry with this infantry and then gets a flank attack off. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one of those situations where we're not like down too far in terms of numbers off the bat, but we're unable to make up lost ground. Because what am I going to do once I've broken these units? You know, it's not possible to come and save the rest of the army, really. Alright, well, at least we got some revenge. It's actually a good thing. It protects their flank. It's not going to help, but sometimes if I'm losing, I fight the combat versus the general, because I'm going to break anyway. There's a tiny statistical chance that the general will fall. Now, they're lined up for a flank charge there, so we need to catch them. Ugly. Dispatch more lights to take care of these archers. Which way do we flee? Don't think we'll be able to break them, unfortunately. They're not going to help. Okay. Well, we're getting some damage in, so our pride at least can be salvaged. But our center cannot. Next turn. Don't know who just rallied. Too bad, I was hoping they'd maybe rally up and repel them. Still farming some points off of these archers, but it doesn't really matter that much. Right, so you collapse and flee which way? You could hit them and then they'll just fall back, unfortunately. Maybe I should have got more of these currents. They ended up being more useful than a lot of units I brought along. Sure, why not? And there's this whole dreadful situation. The only reason it's still relatively even is that these men haven't all run away yet, but they're working on it. Yeah, run away from the cavalry. What do we do with you? Could get a good volley off, and then we get charged and butchered. Do we want that? I don't think it's worth it. So we withdraw. Ouch. Okay. Next turn. There we go. Okay, see what damage we can do before the end here. Oh, of course, yes. Alright, next turn should be the last. Next turn. I guess we're going to prolong our misery for a little longer. Alright, onward. Alright, next turn. The game is forcing me to continue, so I suppose I will continue. I doubt that we can cause a cohesion check on these armored troops, but we'll try. Yep, not with low ammo. Okay. And we get the GG. By rally. I'm fine with that. So Pompey and I were chatting a bit about army choice and why I screwed up in terms of army choice, basically. And he was suggesting the earlier list. I'll probably make a season recap for each section, in which I'll go in detail into army choice and how it affected things. In terms of this match alone, I don't think I made any extremely obvious mistakes. Perhaps I should have kept my infantry line anchored on this hill and moved cavalry, maybe cavalry centered to break those lancers out of controls, and my skirmishers not so concentrated on the left but also in the middle. But I'm not sure if that would have made a difference. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have much to say other than that. Very well played to Pompey as usual. He's a fine player, and I remember he was pretty new to the game not that long ago, and look at him now, right? So good game, and until next time.